I keep having this question come up. Is Jesus God? Isaiah said we are gods. Jesus stood up and read it. To me, I'm going to be honest with you, it's sort of a futile question. It's like not even really relevant or important to debate over this. Is Jesus the Son of God, or is he also God? Well, does it matter? To me, it's just like, what's your point? What's your MO here? Like, what's your objective of this dispute or discussion? But I have an opinion, and I'll explain it as Jesus would in a parable. If you cut a branch off of a tree and you allow that branch to take up root, and you plant that branch beside the first tree and it grows into its own tree, is it still the first tree? Yes. If you take part of a tree off, is that the tree? Yes. If you then allow that branch to grow, is it still the first tree? Yes. Is it also its own tree? Yes. If you have a child that grows from one of your cells into many, many more cells, is that a part of you? Of course. Is it also a new person? Of course. And so that's pretty much sums up my belief about it. That we are all of God. If we choose to be with him, we'll stay with him. And if we choose not to, we'll be removed. That God gives us life, he gives us breath, he made us. That we're part of God. That Jesus was far more so than average. I don't know the way to word it, but Jesus, the only begotten Son of God. Was he God as a man, or was he God's son? Yes. Both. Does it matter? This is where I don't think we need to disagree any more than we already do. Okay, so there's God the Father, there's Christ the Son. Are they different or the same? Well, they're distinct, but they're one. If you take two pieces of thread and you spin them together into one piece of yarn, is that one piece of yarn, or is it two pieces of thread? Yes, it's both. And hopefully that clears it up for some folks. Hopefully somebody's like, oh, okay. That makes sense. I believe that there's God the Father, there's Christ the Son, there's the Holy Spirit, there's me and you, and we're all one. We're all part of it. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. He didn't say love your neighbor as much as yourself. He said the hand cannot say to the foot, I do not need you. He said we are one. And when the Pharisees attacked and questioned Jesus, he opened up Isaiah, where Isaiah said, doesn't the scripture say that we are gods? And it's something that's outlined so clearly in the scriptures. He says, I am the vine and you are the branches. You must remain connected to me. That's John 15. or you'll die and wither and burn. If you have a vine with many branches, is each branch the vine? You know, if you have a vine and it goes up the tree and it splits left and right, and you take just part of it and you touch it, are you touching the vine? Of course. Of course. So are we God? Yes. Unless we choose to disconnect from Him and we wither and die and burn and are cast into the fire and gone and burned, then we won't be at all. We will be not. Like the green bay tree that was cut down. I think that's Psalm 37. So just to recap, just to summarize here. Is Jesus God? Or is He God's Son? Is your Son not your own flesh and blood? Is a branch cut off the tree still part of the tree? What if it roots and grows its own tree? Do you have some moment when it becomes not part of the first tree? Because if I cut my hand off with a knife or an axe, is it no longer my hand, or is it my hand only severed? You know, if you've ever seen somebody lose a hair off their head, and it goes in someone's food, they say, it's your hair that's in my food. So just because it's disconnected, just because it's no longer attached, this is my hair. This is still my hair. It's still part of me. It's also separate from me. And in the same way, Christ is one with God. Yes, He's God. He's also distinct from God as God's Son. I don't understand why we have to disagree with each other. I don't understand why we have to say, well, we're not the same religion. Because I love God and you love God, and I love Jesus and you love Jesus. And some folks say He's God's Son. Some folks say He's God Himself. You're both right. But Christ said the most important thing to do is love God, and after that it's to love each other as He loved us, to lay down our lives for each other. Please, respect Jesus. Respect God. Whether you envision them as one united being, or a father and a son, understand that it is so much deeper than we'll ever be able to rationalize or understand or comprehend in this world, that it goes beyond what we can hypothesize or discuss. The unity between the Holy Spirit, God, and Jesus Christ is ineffable and indescribable. But they are united. And they are distinct. Not as much as we think, because we see things in a very earthly, worldly view. But God sees all creation as a part of Him, as one. He says, if you did not lift your hands and praise me, the rocks would cry out. The rocks are part of God's kingdom. They're part of God's people. They're part of God. Everything we have here, He says, the bread that we eat is His body broken for us. The manna in the desert, that was God. distract them smiling about this little guy down here. You can't really see him very well. I think he wants my chocolate milk. Waiter. Sorry. So is God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit one entity, or are they separate entities? Again, if I have anything, if I have a vine and I cut the vine and I plant the branch and the branch grows its own roots and its own branches, but you test the DNA of the two, they'll be identical. If you cut a branch off a tree and you plant that branch, which can be done in certain ways, if you just bury it in the dirt, it won't always work, but if an arborist does it, they can take a branch and they can create another tree. But they'll be genetically identical. They'll have the same DNA. And it's an abstract thing, but at what point does it become two trees? It doesn't. But do you have two trees? Yes. Are they distinct and separate? Yes. Are they one? Yes. It's pretty much that.